Hello, my name is Patrick Riley. I am a junior broadcast journalism student here at the University of Kentucky, and for my final presentation for Journalism 333 Law and Ethics, I will be doing the case of Jean Carroll versus Donald Trump 2023, in which Donald Trump was sued for defamation. And so, an outline for this presentation, I will start with talking about me and my research. I will then go to the research questions. After that, I will go to my argument. And after that, I'll go to findings. And after that, I'll go to discussion part one, then discussion part two, and then conclusion, and next steps, then works cited, then Q&A. Thank you. So, uh, I'm starting with me and my research, which I decided to look through defamation cases since I feel like it is the pretty much the most important thing we have to talk about, well, like think about in the back of our minds as journalists at all times, because if we do something wrong, if we report something wrong, we could be in a bunch of lawsuits. You have to make sure everything is concrete before you like publish it or anything, or else you might get into some bad water. And when I was looking through defamation suits, I saw Carroll v. Trump, which intrigued me because it was the opposite side. It's mainly focused on if you were defamed by a member of the public as a private citizen and journalist, which is interesting to me. My two research questions are what role did defamation law play in Carroll's case, and how did the courts interpret Trump's public statements? And my second one is how can journalists use defamation law to protect themselves and hold public officials accountable for their words? All right. So, my argument is that defamation law was used to strengthen Carroll's argument since the court decided that Trump's statements were phrased as factual claims rather than political speech. Judge Kaplan's interpretation of the case exhibits how a political figure can lose protection under the First Amendment if they make defamatory remarks about private individuals which are presented as facts. So this basically means that journalists uh, are essentially private individuals, and if a person of power makes a comment that could be considered like threatening to their livelihood or anything that is untrue, that would make it defamatory. Okay, with findings, I found three main keys. First is that the court decided that Trump presented his statements as fact, not opinion. So Judge Kaplan noted that Trump's statement about Carroll directly claimed that she had lied about sexual assault by saying things like "she's not my type" and that it never happened, rather than using hyperbole. So this basically meant that the court, well, well, the court also decided that these statements did not constitute as political speech, since claims about private individuals could result in reputational harm. So, as I said earlier, since Trump decided to make these claims about um, a private individual, uh, it was decided that these weren't just political speak or just opinions given out. He was presenting them as fact, which makes them defamatory responses. They are eligible to be defamatory. And the second one is the filing of this case as an ASA case expanded the scope of the defamation suit. Carroll had filed a second lawsuit 9 minutes after the Adult Survivor Act had gone into effect. This linked the secondary sexual assault claim, which was the ASA claim, uh, to the initial defamation case, making both timely. Uh, so basically, what that means is that the original defamation suit was outside of the statute of limitations, and once it was filed, once it was filed alongside the ASA claim of sexual assault, it was brought back into being a timely case. The Trump party tried to get that section of the court of the thing dismissed because it was past the statute of limitations. But since it was like directly linked to the sexual assault claims, it was brought back, meaning that you can't just throw out a defamation case if it is irrelevant to the rest of the larger case. And then my third thing that I realized was Carroll's status as a private individual raised Trump's legal burden. So, Carroll's standing as a private individual was emphasized multiple times throughout the case, allowing the courts to claim Trump's negligence made the statements fall under the guise of malice. Judge Kaplan's emphasis on this point allowed the threshold of what to be considered defamatory to be lowered. So basically, what this means is that since uh, Carroll was a private citizen, which is a private individual, not a member of the public, uh, Trump's claims that were presented as fact were able to be considered defamatory, even though in other situations they may not be, just because it could have done irreversible like reputational harm towards Carroll if not treated that way. All right. How can we answer RQ2? Defamation law can be a tool for journalists in both a defensive and proactive sense. This allows them to protect themselves from needless attacks from political figures, among with holding those same officials accountable for potentially harmful statements. That's basically a reiteration of the main topics from uh, the last segment, but how we can use it as journalists and how we can apply it to our lives. So within Carroll v. Trump, a precedent was made. Well, within defensive protection, there's two major things that I believe are relevant. The first is that within Trump v. Uh, Carroll, a precedent was made that any statements on private individuals, which includes members of the media, that were presented as fact, are actionable within defamation law, meaning that you can defend yourself against against public individuals who decide to essentially attack you through this. And on top of that, uh, uh, as journalists, we have a breathing some like breathing space, and journalists should be able to apply to maintain a safety bubble to protect ourselves from other things if we verify facts and like learn from the mistakes that Trump had made and make sure if the distinctions are clear between what is a fact and what is an opinion. Make sure all the facts are facts. Make sure that opinions are clear that they are opinions. Uh, the next section is the offensive capabilities and essentially holding officials accountable. So within the paper, defamation as a democracy tort by Harvard Law's Daniel Rausch. It is discussed that public officials are liable to harmful statements made, such as the ones that were present in Carroll v. Trump. This means that journalists can use defamation as an enforcer to expose misconduct or lies from public officials, like having it basically having like a safety net of the law, where you cannot be like punished for talking out against people of power, basically because they are uh, like journalists can discern when public statements cross a line. They can then report it and then go through the process to get retributions for basically what happened in Carroll v. Trump. And then within this entire thing, the legal and ethical applications is that if journalists learn to implement Rausch's use of defamation as a tort to basically check political leaders, along with maintaining a breathing space, like Abraham had said, you can find a perfect balance of like trying to keep people in check that are trying to attack you while making sure you're not accidentally attacking others with false claims. So, in conclusion, the main takeaways are that journalists need to understand the line between facts and opinion. Defamation law can be a useful tool for keeping accountability. Defamation is essentially a democratic safeguard. And the next steps I would like to talk about from my research that I like feel like would be better to see is I would like to see more clarity on how this would apply to the social media and viralities. This is a recent case, but at what point does someone become like lose being a private citizen with like the concept of virality? Like when you become like a celebrity or something, and how do you get through that? There was never really a distinction, especially since the claims were made on social media. So I think it would have been helpful to have those, but yeah, that's what I would like to learn more about. And here's my works cited page. And thank you. If there's something that you need to ask about, my email is pgri222@uky.edu. And if there's any questions, please leave them below. Thank you.